Brian.
Yo, Paul.
Fantastic.
How you doing?
I've seen this was John Cale last year.
Wrong way up.
How'd it go?
Usual 12,000 reluctant sales.
Oh, you have a card. What have you been doing since? You too, I think. Actung the Baby.
Did a bit of U2, yeah. A couple of Shinto Shrine inaugurations in Japan.
Saw it in Hello magazine.
Yeah.
Nice spread.
Nice
Eight nice pages.
Gave me 8 pages. 5 figures.
They paid you. They paid you.
Oh, 5 figures. High 5 figures.
People like it in and out.
Yeah.
You too, Actung the Baby.
Mm-hmm.
Good to see you helping out the minority artists.
I always think you've got to do something for the small guys, you know. They're really that's really what keeps the scene alive.
Do you learn anything from working with those people?
Well, I think you do, you know.
Records worldwide?
They've been around for a few years, working hard, not really getting far, you know.
Well.
Coming up with a lot of fresh new ideas like these young bands do. And, you know, Paul, when you're in the mainstream, fame is like a shell around you. You can so easily get insulated from the real fibre of life. And it's nice to tap into that kind of gutsy, rootsy energy that you get from a small band like them.
Done you a bit of good then?
I think it's done me a lot of good, and I hope I've helped them out a bit.
Well, what was it? Music for Airports, 192,000 in Rio de Janeiro, wasn't it?
Yeah, we did it in Rio, and we did it in Sao Paulo.
Oh, it's incredible.
164,000.
Incredible.
We did a 2.5-hour Music for Airports there. Did on land in Tokyo. At the.
But you know what we're all thinking, Brian? When are you going to start singing those songs again? I mean, we miss your voice.
Really?
My Baby's on Fire, Third Uncle. Have we got, you know, maybe tonight, get a chance? What do you think?
Well,
anyway, Brian, hey, stick around. Oh, I've got some models on in a minute, some dresses to look at. You fancy that? Martin Scorsese's coming on next. Yeah.
Sure.
You got the Oscars, so
good.
Stick around.
Nice to see
Brian
Morley again.
Thank you very much. Stay there. So I said, go on. The camera's not running. What do you really do on a U2 album? And he says, well, on this new one, Actung Baby, I heard it in, say, July of a particular year, and it was really rubbish. So I just suggested they all go on a 2-week holiday. They came back, they heard it, agreed with me, and said, you know, that was a great piece of production. You're good at lying, aren't you, Brian?
2 words.
You told me, in fact,
yes,
that you've almost been trained to be a liar.
I was trained, yes, by my uncle.
Because I was wondering, you know, as we've been making this programme, almost looking at some of the things you've done, it's almost like a lot of the things you've done have been this fantastic kind of broad representation of not telling the truth. You know, whether you work with other people, make the kind of music you make, the videos, everything. It's almost like it's just been a long series of really kind of strange lines. Do you know what I mean by that?
I think that's what people do. They invent stories, really. But then after they've done it, they pretend that was what they really meant all the time.
You mean the value of hindsight kind of thing? I knew exactly what I was doing.
The way, if you want to lie, the way to do it is just to imagine what the world would be like if your lie were true.
Of course, when somebody says something like that to you, you then have to worry, is it true or false?
And then just inhabit that world and see what happens. That's a good way of projecting into the future as well. You know, like, imagine a future where Michael Bolton is a fringe avant-garde artist.
Yeah.
What would all the values of that society be then? Wonderful.
Maybe if we were in that world, I would hate it as much as we hate the world where Michael Bolton is, in fact.
Yeah, maybe I would be sitting here as Michael Bolton.
And you would be just as hated. Can I just pop in? I just wanted to tell you that I think it's going really well. Because we did a lot of, you know, I went out on the streets of London yesterday to ask people. Have you ever heard of Brian Eno?
Brian Eno.
What?
Brian Eno.
No, I haven't.
No.
What does he do?
Italy.
Italy.
Not at all. No, I haven't, no.
Brian Eno.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Is he a musician?
It's Roxy Music, isn't it?
Is that it?
That's it, really.
Is that my screen test over?
Yeah, great. Does that annoy you as an artist?
It doesn't. It neither annoys me or surprises me.
2% said, oh yes, he used to be in Roxy Music.
Yeah, that's what I normally get as well. Like when I got the car down here yesterday, the guy said, "Oh, hello, they just played Virginia Plain on the radio." As if I was going to go, really? Amazing. It happens all the time, but don't you get this same thing?
Oh yeah, they remember that 1977 article on Joy Division. You know, I've always wanted to say, this is exactly halfway through the programme.
It's just boring, that's all, to be faced with what now seems to me like distant past, you know, half a lifetime ago.
As of today, at 20 to 5, these are my 6 favourite albums that Brian Eno has been involved in. Eno with Burn, My Life in a Bush of Ghosts, David Bowie's Low, Roxy Music's For Your Pleasure, U2's Achtung Baby, Talking Heads' Fear of Music, and Devo, Are We Not Men? And you know, I think there's a pretty good case, and I'm not joking when I say this, to say that these are the 6 best rock albums ever made.
The question I ask myself is, who was the person doing that? Because quite often I can't imagine how I arrived at those results.
What do you think, looking back on those things that you've done?
Well, I don't...
No, but I mean, you know, as of today, at this moment in time, just gone 4:45, my 6 favourite Brian Eno albums. Another Green World, Apollo, that he made with Daniel Lanois and Roger Eno, Long Way Up, that he made with John Cale, Before and After Science, Music for Airports, Here Come the Warm Jets. And you know, I'm not joking when I say that these could be the 6 best albums ever made. I remember that I used to play No Pussyfooting at 16 RPM when it began almost to become an object.
You're right, it does have a sort of sculptural feeling to it. It's a sound that is so dense that it's up to like 100 overlays of guitar. It's a very, very thick electric guitar.
Brian Eno said that the closest thing to what he does musically is heavy metal. I must say that the way I got into those, though, you know, it wasn't really a music that I was interested in, but you were a glam rock hero at that time. And did you find that fascinating, that as a glam rock hero, therefore you were probably opening up an audience that to an extent is probably still the same audience you have today for that kind of thing? I mean, have you been aware of that in a way?
Somewhat, yeah. Because being a glam rock hero was a bit of a surprise to me.
It was a surprise to everybody, I think.
I can remember feeling that the Velvet Underground were my ancestors musically, that they were the people from whom I took inspiration, and The Who were the other important band for me. From quite early on, I've always made this issue about contemporary music being something that actually anyone could do. You know, in the past, to be involved in music required actual physical skills. It really doesn't now. What it does require is judgment, and judgment certainly seems to most people like something that's easy to cultivate as opposed to skills. I don't think it is, actually. I think there are just as many difficulties in that. But
Brian, can you explain to me what oblique strategies are? Something you invented in, what, 1975?
yeah, this was an idea for how to get yourself out of a rut. If you're in a situation in the studio or writing or performing a neurosurgical operation or something like that, and you come to a kind of impasse. What do? You can't think of what to do. So
you take a card.
You take a card.
Brian on the phone then.
This is a bit of a nerve-wracking point because
this is what you're going to do next.
Whatever the card says is what you have to do.
All right.
Change instrument roles. Do I have to use your list of questions?
No, nor do you have to. This is the bit where I asked Brian Eno question number 4.